Hey, I'm Shenequa.
And I'm Andrea.
And you're listening to So With This Ring. So here we are, episode 6. That means It's been 6 weeks since we started the podcast overall. And I'm feeling good. How do you feel?
I feel good.
I feel really good. Like our time is really ticking away.
It is.
I wasn't, I wasn't really expecting for time to go as quickly as it did. But at the same time, here we are, episode 6. How was your weekend, though, before we get into that?
It was good. I got my hair done, so I feel good. Fun fact, y'all always gonna see a different hairstyle with me.
That's your signature. That's a staple.
Yeah, I might think, is this a different co-host? No, it's just me with a different look and a different hairstyle. Just wanted to put that out there on the statement. How about you?
It was good. I was able to get, back acquainted with like some friends that I did not see. Well, I want to say within the past like 2 months now, because life got in the way, and then the pandemic is still going on, and so we were able to get together for like a secret exchange, Santa exchange, because it got delayed. So that was good, and we were able to go out and go for dinner and stuff like that. That was really cool.
So you had a good time.
I had a good old time with some friends of mine. We had a good old time.
Yep, so we're back.
Yes, we're definitely back. So for this episode 6 is So Are We Official?
Yes.
So basically,
you heard it.
Yes.
So
are we official? Which is questions that we either have in our mind, or like if you're like Drea over here, she's gonna ask like, what's going on? What's the situation? Are we really together, or like what's going on? What do I need to do? So we wanted to basically break down, because we wanted to see if people understood the fact that there is a huge difference when it comes to dating and dating someone.
Yes.
Right? So when you're dating, that basically means that you are out there. You're flourishing out there. You're getting to know multiple people at the same time.
Yes.
Right? And you're just, you have no desire to really be in a relationship at this moment. You're just, testing the waters here and there. There's no one that really has caught your eye. So you're just out there just looking around for different things.
It's kind of like when y'all on those Match.com and doing speed dating.
Yes.
So consider it speed dating at your time and leisure.
Exactly.
So that's what I call it with, dating. And then
there's dating someone, when you've already found somebody that you can say, okay, we have a good chemistry. I'm not entertaining anybody else. I'm just worried about you. You are starting to see this person more often, more frequently. And then you're starting to realize, okay, I can see this going for long term. Like, I don't need to entertain anybody else. Right now, you are my main and only. Because there's like hopes that down the line, it could be turned into something else, where that's my boo, or, that's my fiance, that's my husband, and those kind of terms. So I think we all have had these moments in our lives where we were dating and then dating someone. Because I know that for me, like, there was a moment, like, after I broke up with my first ex, like, I was like dating around, trying to get an understanding to not be so rusty, as I had said before, because I was out of the dating game for so long. Very, very rusty.
Because there's sometimes people will be like, listen, I don't want to be locked down into just one relationship. I just want to, live my best life and date a couple of people. And I don't see nothing wrong with that.
No.
I do say you need to let the person know, because I think what happens is you think that that person may think they're the only one. And you need to let them know, disclaimer, listen, I'm just dating. I am actually dating multiple people, and this is what it is.
Exactly.
Men tend not to do that and say that, and that's why women sometimes get misled. I have known a couple of females that directly told. I mean, for myself, I did it. I directly told people, like, listen, I'm dating. You're not the only person I'm dating. I'm dating multiple people, to enjoy. I just want to live my life. I'm not ready to settle down, and etc. Because what tends to happen is when you don't have those conversations and tell the person, it gets kind of miscommunication.
Sticky.
And it gets, sticky.
Sticky situationships.
Yeah, but
that's what takes place.
Or, or then you'll see, female confronting somebody and and that's not nothing for me to talk about. But it's just, when I saw it, I was like, this is the clear miscommunication part, when you're not letting somebody know, listen, this is what it is, I'm doing me, you do you. Because then we get on this where we have to chase after the person. And one thing about me, I ain't chasing after. True. That's not. So it's just being clear and setting the tone of what it is when you're going to be dating.
Right.
Now, when you're dating that person with just a one-on-one date, that's a little bit different. Because that's more of getting to know the person. You're saying that, okay, you know what? I'm only going to date you, and that's it. So it's actually being committed to one another.
Exactly, like that whole exclusivity,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And you definitely hit it like right on the head, as far as like, if you're going to be saying like, I'm going to be dating other people, at least let it be known, so that way you both are on the same page and no one is just out there looking crazy. Because I think that's what really happens. Like, one person is in it like for the long haul, and then you have another person who's just like, no, I'm not really feeling it that way. And that's what can cause a lot of crazy stuff from happening, because their feelings is now hurt, things like that. But I know a majority of the time it is men, but let's not
we don't want to be
let's
biased.
not eliminate the fact that sometimes that it is women that are out there that's just dating, saying, oh, I'm just doing me, and that's really about it, and like playing those kind of games. So, but again, mostly you see that out there where it's mostly the guy that's doing it. But I think recently we've been getting like a good little switch where females have been doing that a lot more. So really what we try to do, or what you should be doing, is trying to eliminate any possible issues or rifts or anything like that. If you just are honest in the very beginning, say, hey, I'm just letting you know you're not the only one. I'm dating around multiple people. I'm trying to get an understanding of who I mesh with. And then, I'll let you know if you turn out not to be the person I'm meshing with. And no matter how bad, like, you can't really say that term and
that's
like the
kind of shady. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna do, basically I'm doing the process of elimination. So you may be out.
Right, but there's honestly no sweet way of saying that. But
you know what it kind of is like, if you think about it? You just gotta be thinking. It's kind of like The Bachelor. It's like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Like, they dated, where it's a whole bunch of us. We dated, and I'll, select the process of elimination.
That's true. I never thought about it. I never saw the show, but I get the concept. I get the concept of the show. But, at least on that show, they know what they're getting into. You know what I mean? They know that a potential, you're going to go up there and you're not going to get the rose? Right? Is that what it is? All right. I know eventually she or he is not going to give me that rose. So either I need to come with the vase with the water already in it, or I need to call up my florist to get another rose. I was trying to make a really good analogy that would fit, especially since talking about the rose, but never mind. Cut.
You was good. It just took me out until you started talking about water.
But I'm just saying, anyway, next. I'm gonna next myself. I'm cut. I'm cutting myself.
You cut yourself.
That was a bit much. So basically it's just letting the other person know really where your mindset is. If you have no desire to, keep things going just with this person alone, then it's nothing to at least give them the courtesy to say, hey, I'm testing. I'm just putting my foot in the water to see how cold it is. Another analogy that doesn't work.
Because it's cold. I mean, it's a cold, cold world out here.
Exactly.
And I know it's cuffing season.
And I think that's really what it is the fact that maybe people in the back of their mind is saying, I don't know how to bring this to their attention. Like, I'm not ready for a relationship right now. I'm just dating.
But then here's my thing. Then why even bother? The minute the person says, listen, I kind of want to be serious. That's when you gotta pump the brakes and go, you know what? This ain't gonna work out. You already know. Like, if you listen to the previous episode that we had, we already gonna tell you. You already know what you're gonna want and what you're gonna deal with, the standards and everything.
Right.
So why put yourself through that? That's enough.
It could be that the reasoning why they're doing that is because what that person brings to the table for them potentially. Now, they can be very well off. They could spoil them, the way that they want to be spoiled for that particular time frame. And no, seriously. And that's the reasoning as to why they keep them in their back pocket.
Yes, I want to.
Because there are some people who are opportunists.
Because I'm about to say, I love it. Thank you for whining and dining me. But I like this. I mean, maybe because we're going to talk about, maybe I'm about too independent. Because
very independent.
Yeah, very. And I'm very independent. So that type of stuff, wine and dining, it's all, I think it's more to that, but I think it's just exploring options.
Right.
I think sometimes, when I think about dating beforehand, I was like, it was exploring options until I decide who I want to lock it down with. But then what happens if the person you want to lock it down with don't want to lock it down with you?
Exactly.
Then what you going to do? Call the other people that you ex-go for?
Well, I mean, isn't that what they're thinking about anyway? They're just trying to narrow it down to the main one who made it, like The Bachelor, right? I'm just saying. not to ramble on about that part, but I'm just saying,
exactly.
just to, like what you were saying, to make it known that this is exactly what you're going to do. And even if it is not the most savoriest of conversations to have, it's something that you need to do so you can set the tone in the beginning.
So then when you're just dating the person one-on-one, what is that supposed to look like?
So if that means that this is the person that you can see yourself actually building towards, like building a future. Like everyone else does not matter. You have like a strong chemistry with that person. This is your person. Like if you guys are Grey's Anatomy fans, finding that person, things like that. That's what I mean by dating that person. Like just the full exclusive, that word. Okay, that word I can't get out right now. But just being just totally exclusive to that person. There we go. It came out. So that is the only person that you can really see yourself with right now. You are content, you're happy in all avenues. This person is giving you everything that you need, giving you the love languages that you need, which I'm setting up for the next episode.
I see you.
And so they're just giving you everything that you need, and you just want to stay, you're comfortable. This is what you want to do. You're not entertaining anyone else. So it's kind of like being married. You're not entertaining nobody else. You are married to that one person. Here we go.
No, I don't see it as being married to that one person. Because first of all, I get with your analogy. But if you ain't put no ring on me, no, we're not married. So we are just exclusively dating to see where that next level will be. Because what happens is with the exclusively dating part is we also got to think about the fact that may not work out either.
This is true.
Because then we get caught up. The reason why I stopped you about the ring part, because a lot of us get caught up like that. You'll be in these relationships and then be like, that's hubby, that's wife.
Oh, I didn't even mention anything about the name calling.
That
becomes extra. It's because you got comfortable with the person, or you heard someone else calling somebody else that, and that's why you started calling somebody else this. I can tell you right now, I've never called my now husband hubby prior to us getting married. That's just not something that did. But what I was saying as far as the analogy is, it's like when you are comfortable, when you're happy in your marriage and stuff like that, that means, and you're with that person, you're married, he put the ring on it.
Sure.
You're not entertaining anybody else. So I was using it in that kind of sense. But
I wanted to say that because sometimes people do, get it twisted in that context, because there will be people that we get like the long.
Yeah.
No. So, and then it doesn't work out.
True.
So we have to talk about that too, because we have the dating just to be dated, and then you have the dating, committed dating, and then that doesn't work out.
Right. And then you go back into the dating phase and trying to find that one. So that's what I'm saying. It's a whole circle until you find the person that you click and you mesh with. And then, of course, there's going to be obstacles along the way. But I think that's going to determine at some point, like how much you are in love with the person and you love the person enough to make it want to work.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, and it has to be both parties wanting to make it work. It can't just be one person. Because at that point, it becomes strenuous and it feels like it's like stressful on that one person, and that's just going to break the relationship overall. So I just feel as though like it's a cycle. But there is definitely a difference between actually dating out there and stuff like that compared to dating someone, meaning specific towards one person.
No, you're right. But then I don't know why in my mind is thinking like there are people that do be committed to dating and then tend to get off track and still go back in the dating. And it's
the temptation.
Yeah, but
are you strong enough to hold on to the to like not really get into the temptation? Or you're just not content with the person that you're with.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, what does that conversation look like when you're saying you're going to be committed and dating? But I guess moving on to next stories and topics. But I'm just saying, what does that conversation look like?
That's what I'm saying. The conversation is never going to be easy. Like, how do you tell a person, like, listen, we've been kicking it now for 4 years, and I think everything's been amazing, but there's just this little piece of me that I'm just like, I'm not fulfilled here, and I need to explore other options.
It's all those awkward conversations, and I think these are the conversations that you have to have, because then sometimes you end up being stuck.
Exactly.
And then you hear people like saying, "Oh, I'm stuck." Like, how are you stuck?
Because of those reasons, because they don't want to actually have that kind of conversation.
Or they don't want to, hurt somebody's feelings.
Right.
And my thing is, you still gotta have, like, either way, somebody's gonna get hurt down the line. That's the bottom line. Somebody's gonna get hurt down the line. And still, you're going to be hurt down the line, because then you're not going to get what you're really looking for. And I always think, like, this always makes me think, like, when I first met my husband, I was like, you know, in the day, I was like, listen, if you want to have, I made it very known, if you want to have a good time, let me know now so I can know how to adjust myself and know what I need to do. Or you're looking for something, you know, with some long-term stability that will lead to a future.
Right, exactly.
Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of like an interview. Like, you're really, like, having these conversations. I think most of the time people have conversations. I know I sound like I'm running off, but this is what I'm thinking in my head.
Right.
Or off key. Like, you don't have these conversations. And that's why I think what I saw, like, this past week, like, the whole confrontation process, that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to, you should, number one, know your worth. And then number two, you need to be communicating. And I think the main factor is communicating. Nobody's communicating their heart's desires. Nobody's communicating what they want in when it comes to the date.
Or only communicating half.
Oh, yeah.
Because that goes into a situation that happened to me. To where, like, right after, like, I was ready to get back into that world of, like, you know, dating and stuff like that after that first breakup. And I started dating this one person who, he told me, he was like, listen, I just recently got a divorce from my wife. I do have a 1-year-old daughter. He was very upfront with me about that. I didn't see any red flags. Why? Because me then, I'm like, well, you're giving me this information that you did not have to tell me that you are recently divorced, that you have a 1-year-old child. And but I'm open to it. I've never been a person to say that I will never date somebody who has a child. I know what that's going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to that. I guess for me, when you hear, like, you know, what I'm divorced, but but you know, nowadays that's the new normal anyway.
Right. Because some people are like getting married really young, and then they're divorcing because they're like, okay, this is not what I wanted. This is what I wanted at that particular time, and it just didn't work. So I'm thinking like that. Okay, he's divorced. He has a 1-year-old. He's back into the scene of dating and stuff like that. So we chalked it up. We would, you know, hang out and stuff like that or whatever. You know, everything was cool. We had a good chemistry. And this is where the half-truths come in, where he wasn't actually divorced.
I was just about to say it.
Nope. He wasn't actually divorced.
He was separated.
No, not even separated. He was still married. They got into an argument, and he ended up going to his second house and staying there. And then I just so happened to get a phone call from the wife. Yes. Like, oh, hey, is this
it's such a
Shenequa?
And you like,
and I'm
hey,
just like, hey, how are you? Oh, yeah, I just wanted you to know. I just want to understand, like, what is your relationship with XYZ?
My God.
And I was just like, what is going on? And it was kind of like when, you know, when the TV goes out and it makes that loud dude.
Yeah.
That's exactly what just happened in my head. I'm like, what is going on? I was like, well, you know, XYZ told me that you guys were divorced. He told me about your 1-year-old. And, you know, we've been kicking it now for about a good 2 months. You know, it was never anything like physical, but at the same time, like, we was chilling. And she was just like, oh, no, we're very much so married. We just got into a very big argument because he cheated on me. And I told him that we need to go to therapy. He didn't want to go to therapy, so he ended up going to his second house and staying there. But we share phone bill, and I started to see your telephone number coming up so often.
This is back in the days, everybody. Fun fact,
before paperless.
Before paperless and not being able to have access, you could still have access. And see the numbers that call. So you start, you know, out.
So yeah, she was probably there with her highlighter, like, okay, talking to her for 40 minutes, an hour, 50 minutes, an hour. And so she randomly called me. And that's why I was just like, oh, so I'm going to be like very transparent with you, because at the end of the day, he didn't tell me this. All he told me was that he was divorced and he had a 1-year-old.
Well, did he call after that? He had to call.
Of course. Well, he ended up showing up to my house and was like, I'm very sorry. But the puppy dog face, I'm very sorry. I'm just not happy with my wife. I'm like, so...
Did you file divorce papers or not?
Exactly. And no, there was no divorce papers. No, nothing. So
together to this day. That's me.
No, and honestly, they're not. Disclosure, they're not. He ended up actually getting involved with somebody else. Like, I want to say like 5 years later, after divorce had taken place, and he got married to that new girl. Like 5 years later. So that's what I'm saying. It's a matter of telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Don't give half truths.
But this is why it's important to have the conversations. I understand you see somebody and say, oh my goodness, he looks so good or she looks so fine. it's a wrap. No, you need to have the conversations, because then you'll have somebody that will have a whole side person, have a whole double. Y'all know y'all be watching those movies. Y'all know y'all be watching those movies where people be having a whole double life.
Right, but the thing is that how do you know? Because I'm listening to him and he's giving me everything out on the table as we're having that conversation. He's letting me know where he wants to go, things like that or whatever. Can you always take what they're telling you to be the truth?
Yes, you can. Because let me tell you, no, excuse me, I'm lying.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm lying. I rewind. That was me jumping the gun.
I was about to say,
yeah, no. So there's a couple of things you can tell. If you're nosy like me, you would be investigating. Okay? So for me, that situation, I would have asked for some divorce papers, but that's just me. I want to know the divorce papers. I want to know everything. Why y'all broke up? What was the reasoning why you the breakup? I asked those type of questions because you know why?
Those questions were asked, except for the actual paperwork. I didn't think, because I was just like, oh, I think that's reaching a little bit too much, because we are 2 months in, and I was just like, okay, let me get the passwords to your Facebook, which he gave it to me. All the pictures of the wife was not even there. There was only a picture of the daughter.
He did a clean out. He did a clean out. Oh, he probably never posted those. Those be the ones. Ooh, those be the ones.
No, I have to say, he was posting pictures of her. There were pictures, because remember, we were friends prior to us kicking.
Okay.
So it's not like we randomly met somewhere and started talking. So there were pictures of him and his wife on there. For everything. He took them completely down.
Over an argument, y'all. He gonna say they
but he took them both down before him and I actually started talking. So that's all. It's just like, okay.
But the fact that he said, I got a whole divorce from an argument. Like, I'm not. I hope he, did the work on himself. Because those are things that you have to do to work on yourself, I believe. Like, before getting into another relationship or getting married again. Because my thing is like, if you did that in your first relationship, what's gonna make the second one
any different? Right. No, I see what you're saying. But at the same time, it's kind of like what we were saying before. Don't bring that baggage from a previous relationship into something new. You got to give them at least the benefit of the doubt to prove themselves wrong or right. So in this situation where I'm like, okay, here is 20-something-year-old me, like just fresh into my 20s.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to what this guy is telling me, and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate in a sense. Because I'm like, what guy is going to come to you and tell you these things? Because they tend to hide out the fact that, one, they have a child, thinking that, okay, that's going to make or break the situation. Two, the fact that they were married and they're getting divorced, so it's kind of like, okay, what happened in your marriage that you couldn't keep that together? So it's kind of like you're giving me stuff that's already red flags right off the cuff. So that's the reasoning why I didn't see it as a red flag, which I should. Looking back at it now, it's kind of like,
But you know what? But that's on age, though, too. Because I feel like dating in your 20s, like dating in your earlier years, we're gonna say the younger years as opposed to 30 and older, is a totally different, perspective.
It is.
It is, because you're not gonna think about those things. Honestly, I know in my 20s I wasn't thinking about half of that stuff. I was like, oh, you cute, you fine, okay, you wanna be mine. Simple as that. That was it. And deal with the BS later, and then have the drama of hearing from the person or not hearing from the person, or occasion like. Yeah, I remember I used to date this dude. It was like, I don't even know if he was really cute. I don't know if it's really. He was fun. But it was just weird. Like, it was just weird. Like, I should have known. Like, I knew he had a kid. It's so funny you said I knew he had a kid, but it was just very interesting. Like, even the life.
Interesting.
That's my word.
We've been waiting for that.
It was because, like, I'm more about where you live, like what's going on. I can't bring you to your house. That's a flag right there. Then also you're not really, and then also you gotta really define dating. Like, does dating, like, oh, we're just talking, I see you occasionally, or are you actually picking me up?
That's true. What are the activities?
Like, what are the activities consistent of? Because activities like me coming to see you at your job, that's not.
No. And why do we always gotta meet at your job?
Or why we always gotta meet somewhere that's not
public?
I tell you, I can write a book. But it goes to show to say that when you're older, like, it's different. So I knew when I was getting into dating later on, I knew what I wanted from these experiences of the, I don't want to call it serial dating, but like doing the runaround. Let's call it the runaround. Or like we reference it like the Bachelor.
Bachelor, yes.
But it was doing that. So I was able to like really find out what I'm looking for. Because sometimes 9 times out of 10, you're going based off of what your girlfriend may tell you.
Yeah.
You're going based off of what society tells you or what your family tells you should be bringing home. But you really got to take, what works for you and what you feel is right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because 9 times out of 10, wait a minute, and you also do the work for yourself.
That's true.
Because you want somebody to come to the table with all these things, but you also have to come to the table as well.
You have to bring something too. It's not just about that other person. Like, what can he do for me? No. What can you both do for each other? That is the main question, not just what that person can do for you. Because that's kind of one-sided. Then that comes off as you being selfish, and this is not what it's about. Whenever you are dating, it's never about one specific person. It's about both parties who are included in that dating process, whether that is a situationship, whether that is multiple parties involved, whether that is just you with one other additional person. It is something that should be balanced, like 50-50 split down the middle. No one person should be doing more than the next. And if that is the case and you see yourself where you're doing the majority of it, then that's not really the relationship you want to be in, or that's not the situation that you want to be in, or that's not the friendship that you want to be in, because
wait, or how about we gonna be going more? How about people that be dating because they just don't want to know?
That's it. Being comfortable. Want the comfortable. They want the companionship, but don't necessarily want to basically say this is the commitment behind it. Like, I'm just with you because of the simple fact that I like you. Yes. Do I want to be in a relationship with you right now? No. But I'm here. I'm just in it for the ride. Like, for what is it?
Listen.
The roller coaster. That roller coaster feeling.
That's why you put out here. Don't be wasting my time. Time is money.
Time is of the essence.
It is, but time is money too. So don't be wasting my time. Don't be wasting my good years, my good outfits. And
she said the outfits.
Yeah, my good outfits. You gonna tell me when you going out now?
Stop it.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop because she knows where I'm going.
Because that's what clothes is made to be refreshed, refurbished, and all that.
But I'm just saying, you don't go out on a date looking raggedy.
No, of course not.
Because if you go looking raggedy, we already know what you think about the person.
No, but you can still look good, and even if you don't have a good time, excuse me, can you take my picture real quick? Because I look good, so I can take at least a picture of it, have it in the archives, and post it another time.
Exactly.
True. Because that picture can come in handy. You could forget to you could wear that same outfit, right? Because now we're on a tangent now, because this is what you did. You can wear that same outfit to a brunch, get wasted or too twisted enough to where you didn't get your picture that day. But you could go back in the archives and be like, I did have this outfit on.
You just took me back to what I used to call my girlfriend. This ain't going bad. This is where I'm at, and just call me back.
Oh, girl, I gotta go.
See you later.
No, but let's jump back. Let's jump back into the purpose of the episode. So, yes, so we just wanted to basically go over the simple fact, the difference between the two, or if people knew the difference between the two. Because overall, in the grand scheme of things, everything is dating, right? Yeah. But at the same time, there's different levels of dating. If you are dating someone specifically, then that means you are dating that person just with just that person alone. You're not entertaining anyone else. Now, this is not to say that you can't find somebody else that's attractive. That's not exactly what I'm saying at all, because we're all human. Yeah. Even being married, even, in those, you're still it's human nature for us to look, not stare, not x-ray, exactly. That kind of thing. But we're going to always find people that are out there that's going to be attractive, whether it's on, of the opposite sex or the same sex. You're like, okay, damn, she looked good today, and that's still straying an eye or something like that. But the thing is like, that is of nature. It's the fact of like how exactly you basically fashion yourself to make sure that you don't make any ridiculous moves by your action. Like trying to go out there and be like, hey, just tapping them like, hey, you look good, let me get your number. And it's kind of like, well, no, back up. You dating somebody. Like, you need to chill on that. If you want to do something like that, then you need to hop out the dating somebody and go back into the dating scene. And I think that's what happens is that people have a hard time balancing out whether or not if that is something that they want to do. If they want to stay within the dating scene, or do they want to have the best of both worlds and have their cake and eat it too. have somebody that they are dating specifically because of the simple fact they don't want to lose that
Exactly.
person, but at the same time still have that that wants that opportunity to still be dating other things. That's when they're going to find themselves in a very sticky kind of situation.
But then it goes back to the one important tool of it, communication.
This is true.
Communication, and that's pretty much it is. You got to communicate and say what it is from the beginning. So you can. I mean, some of it.
And I get that 100%, but I guess really what it is that having the conversation. That's the question. How do you have that conversation with the person that you absolutely like and don't want them to leave? To say, hey, I need you to hang on for like a good 2 to 3 months. I want to explore other opportunities with other people for the time being. How do you have that conversation? What does that sound like?
So, that's how it sounds like. So we need to have a talk.
And that's that right there. That phrase is already cringy.
So what you gonna do? Not say nothing?
No, I'm not saying.
I'm just saying this. We have to have a talk. Like, yo, we gonna go out to dinner, and we gonna have a talk.
No, I understand.
So let's take out the. So we need to have a talk. We gonna go out to dinner, and then we can have our conversation there.
Right.
And then it can be brought up in the conversation.
Because I feel at that point that will actually be like, ooh, what do we need to talk about at that point?
We need to talk about well, if somebody like me, I will ask that question. So what we need to talk about? The status of this relationship. Or the status of us. And then okay.
Now what if you're in that situation where you're the person that's being talked to? How would you feel towards that? Like, are you receptive to let's say you really feeling that person. Like this person, yep, you could definitely see walking down the aisle and stuff like that or whatever. And
that happened to me. That happened to me. It sure did happen to me. I was devastated. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I was devastated. It was funny though. Now when I think about it,
now it's funny, but at the time I know it was
in
not
my
funny.
20s. This is what happens because it goes back. If you've been following us and listening to, it was these expectations I had. And I think that's why I'm better off the way I am now. But it was these expectations I had, and I would never forget when somebody was really dating. I was into them and everything. It was going well, and I think one of the things that kind of annoyed me was, don't introduce me to your family if you know we're going to be that serious.
Oh, okay, yeah,
that's the worst part because then you have those connections and then you gotta let go of them.
Yeah.
So it was basically like we have to talk, and then basically like, tell me, I got but it's okay.
I mean, honestly, it happens to
everyone. But I'm just saying, like, don't like what she said about talk. Because I'm like, oh, so and that's how we need to talk. So I'm like, all right. And we need to talk. In my mind was something totally different. I was like, oh, okay, I'm about to hear. I'm
gonna make things official tissue.
I'm about to. No.
And he was like, skirt, let's.
It was like, that's it. And I was like, you know, you just.
Like, huh? Like everything was going so well. What do you mean?
And it was.
No, I couldn't.
We can talk about that. We could use that as a topic later about like breakups and how that.
Oh no, we are. We already we will be talking about that because, like we have mentioned before, stuff that has taken place in our lives can definitely be a New York bestseller.
It sure can.
If we were to combine the stories together, it will. Yeah. It would definitely, like, you know. And I think honestly, there's a part in everyone's life where it's just like, okay, this is straight from out of a movie because the way that this stuff is happening right now, and it just can't be.
And it was. I was in a car and everything. Who
was it raining?
No.
Oh, I was about to say all it needed was the additional rain, and that's
all that was missing. I was like, yo, I couldn't believe I got done.
It's a sucky feeling.
It was, but that's okay. Thank you for dumping me, because then I was able to move along.
Now she found her king,
and I got mine. And I've been with for
a long time. But this was helpful. I'm sure this is because no, seriously, I think that many people don't understand that there is a difference. And you know, if you bring that to light, then people can be like, oh, okay, I can understand that. I can see where they're going with that, or you know, how I can maneuver going forward with the person that I'm talking to now, or whenever I get into the next person. I think that people don't have, like, it's like saying you love a person and then not be in love with them. Those are two different things.
Oh,
which we'll get into.
You will.
We'll definitely get into.
So yeah, so definitely I want people to ask questions because I will have the answers, especially in regards to this topic, because I just random. I remember somebody else that I thought I was dating, and then I wasn't really dating. So I think I'm good with this.
I'm good with this episode too. This is very refreshing.
It was.
And you know, no shade on my girl, but I was waiting for her to use the interesting word. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a counter. I think that would be the most funniest thing ever. For those people who can count from episode 1 to episode now 6, how many times my girl over here says the word interesting, we will have a giveaway for you.
And shout out to those that be DMing me and messaging me saying that y'all love me saying the word
interesting.
I try to get away from saying it.
It's just her favorite word. It's definitely her favorite word.
That and it's ghetto.
Everything is in the ghetto. This year, well, not this year, but last year was in the ghetto.
Yeah, I was just like, it's ghetto.
But
definitely, but just want to once again thank everybody for tuning in to us.
Yes.
As you know, we appreciate it, and you can always find us on all streaming networks and platforms such as Spotify and Anchor. And you know the best format, in my opinion, to see us is right here on YouTube, where you get to see all the beautiful facial expressions and the commentary and the unfiltered and the unraw. So
yes, and to reiterate, everything is uncut and raw. We come in, we record, and whatever it is that we record, that's exactly what
there's no editing. Just
there's absolutely
you know.
The only editing that gets taken place is by putting our logo and our background on it, and there you have it. We wanted it to be something to where it feels as though that you are sitting right there with us as we're recording, just having like regular one-on-one conversations. So nothing is like pre-written, nothing is recorded. As a matter of fact, this episode wasn't supposed to be this episode. It was supposed to be something different, and it was, yes, I will take the blame. It was me. I happened to change it up, but look how it turned out, right?
No.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, it got me rehashing things. Now and then she's gonna ask me all these stories afterwards, because she's gonna be like, Dre, you ain't telling me about this. I'm like, I know.
Right. But you know what? That's the point. That's the point of it, because there's gonna be certain things that I'm gonna bring to the table, and some things that she came to the table with that we are not gonna know. Because at the end of the day, even though we are cool and we have our close friends, our best friends, and people that we say is our day ones and stuff like that, they don't know every single thing. And, you know, that's up to our discretion to want to be able to, you know, bring that out. But that is the purpose of this podcast, is to be as open and transparent as we want to be, without any judgment or anything like that, in hopes that we can help someone else who is currently experiencing this, or, you know, want to prevent themselves from having to go with certain things that we have gone through. So, yep. And just to give you a heads up, we have actually started getting more donations in. So thank you to whomever that has been donating. We definitely appreciate you. You know, we're trying to make sure that we can live up to our part to the Child Center of New York. They've been sending us emails every now and again, because I do send them the updates as far as where we are so far. And they, you know, just are very, very thankful for it. So even though it's after the holidays, they're still able to, you know, provide these kids with these, you know, these toys and things that they need, and so on and so forth. As you know, with the coming holiday, not everybody had it. Everyone's pockets were a little bit, you know, funny. So that's the reasoning as to why they extended it out. And we were like more than happy to go ahead and assist them with that. But like my girl said, and I'm not going to say it again, but we can't help but saying thank you so much. And then continue to following us and listening to us and stuff like that. And then also, we had a giveaway, and for like the mirror with the LED lights.
Oh, what happened? Yes.
And I don't know what's happening here. I know that we did like some counts and stuff like that, but if you can, we're gonna repost it on our stories once again, because we did get like a lot of confusion if they needed to comment on the YouTube page, or if they needed to comment on the Instagram page. Honestly, anywhere that you comment on, we'll take it at this point.
But listen, you need to get that LED light before I take it and put it, because it's amazing.
It's bomb.
We are both like, so it's really good, especially if you are a content person or anything, or like your selfies and taking pictures.
Or just into fashion overall.
Yes. So like we talked about it before, we're gonna be doing multiple giveaways. So you see, she already put in a giveaway for how many times? So definitely, and the giveaway
It's
So
always good
definitely stay tuned. We have so much in store. Like I said, make sure to follow us on all the streaming networks.
stuff.
So until then, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Shenequa, and this is
So
So With This Ring. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday at 8.
Yep.
Bye.
Hi, this is Andrea, and you're listening to So With This Ring.